Namaste students. Today first NEET class for you, zoology. Already in NCERT part, you are discussing the human reproduction. The same part we are going to discuss somewhat detail in NEET level. We are going to discuss about the human reproduction. First we should know that this chapter come under human physiology. Physiology deals with various systems. You might have learned in your first year, I mean 11th standard. Digestive system, respiratory system, like that. Many systems we have discussed. Reproductive system come under human physiology. Physiology deals with each and every organ system function of study of each and every organ system function. So though this human reproduction or reproductive system come under the physiology, we must know who is the father of human physiology. The father of human physiology. Clady Bernard. Clady Bernard only first he developed a new branch of science that is called human physiology. Before that, the human physiology come under medicinal science. Then he separated the branch, deals with the study about various systems in human being and various system function. Example, reproductive system, digestive system, etc. Let me come to that. Reproduction. What is the definition of reproduction? Reproduction, you might have learned from your lower class onwards. The organisms produce its offspring. Offspring means young one. The organism produces its offspring. It resembles its own. It's like own either character or external character or internal character. The definition of reproduction. Reproduction, the ability of organism to produce the offspring like its own. During this human reproduction come under sexual reproduction. There are two types of reproduction you might have learned from your lower class, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. This human reproduction come under sexual reproduction. In the case of sexual reproduction, the two organisms, male and female organisms are involved. The both organisms produce gametes. Male gamete, female gamete. Both gametes are unite to each other. Unite. In the NCERT part we have discussed. In the NEET part also we are going to discuss in a detailed manner. So both you correlated. After seeing this video, just you go through the video as well as your NCERT book and your material, so that it is easy for you to understand the concept. So both the gamete, male gamete, female gamete unite to form a zygote. This process we are calling it fertilization. Then zygote form a fetus. Fetus develop into offspring. Everything come under human reproduction. So when compared to all the systems, digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, nervous system, endocrine system, human reproductive system is much more important. That human reproduction later, the human reproductive system alone later developed as a separate branch of science. Okay, from the human physiology, Human physiology deals with all the system. Only the human reproductive system, study of human reproductive system alone develops a separate branch of biology. That branch of biology is termed as embryology, which is termed as embryology. Embryo, logy means study. Embryo means study of embryo. That means it's a branch of science which deals with development of embryo. Embryo is nothing but fetus, zygote undergo blastula, gastrula, that gastrula embryo. From the embryo, how it develops the fetus. This branch is termed as the science of deals with the development of embryo or development of fetus. From the conception to development of baby, the young one, the infant, till the delivery, that branches alone called embryology. Clear? Embryo means development of fetus. So embryology deals with the development of embryo. So who is the father of embryology? The father of embryology Carl von Baer. Carl von Baer. Full name, if you write the full name, Carl Ernst von Baer. Carl Ernst von Baer. K-A-R-L. Carl von Ernst von Baer. Is the father of embryology. Father of human physiology, Claude Bernard. Claude Bernard. Later this branch become highly developed. Many scientists here. Just now I said now the reproduction, in the sexual reproduction, development of gamete. You know very well the male gamete. Male gamete is a spermatozoa. Female gamete, ovum. Female gamete, ovum. The sperm discovered by, with the help of a bone microscope, the sperm discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. You might have learned the scientist's name. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He discovered the spermatozoa. Discover means what? First he identified with the help of microscope. Okay. Then two more embryologists are famous embryologists. Ernst Haeckel. Claude Bernard, father of human physiology. Carl Ernst von Baer, father of embryology. Anton von Leeuwenhoek, who discovered the spermatozoa. Now, two more embryologists, because it come under both branches. Reproductive system come under human physiology as well as embryology. But mainly it deals with embryology, development of embryo. Ernst Haeckel, important embryologist. Ernst Haeckel. Ernst Haeckel. He proposed one law. That law is termed as biogenetic law. Biogenetic law is an embryologist. This biogenetic law, otherwise called law of recapitulation. Law of recapitulation. In the law of recapitulation, biogenetic law has given many statements, lot of statements. One of the important statement is ontogeny. Ontogeny repeated or recapitulate phylogeny. Much more important statement. It come under the statement given by Ernest Haeckel. It come under biogenetic law or law of recapitulation. What is the meaning of ontogeny recapitulate? Otherwise, ontogeny repeat phylogeny. First, we must know what is ontogeny. Ontogeny, it is nothing but development of, it's a Greek word, development of embryo and development of fetus, infant, etc. Development of embryo and all, you may not be known. With the help of scan only we can able to identify. Just we will pass this part. See, it have a lot of meaning. One meaning I will say that, your known meaning. See, when the baby come out from the mother's womb, deliver from the mother's womb, inside the mother's womb, where it will be? No? Inside the mother's womb, it is in the amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid. It is float in the amniotic fluid, right? That is embryo or fetus. Soon after the delivery, it cannot walk. Just it lay down, right? First amniotic fluid. Now, after delivery, the infant just it lay down. Then slowly it start to traveling is my term, traveling. Then it start to walk with the help of four limbs, I mean hand plus leg. Just to imagine how the child will move with the hand and leg. Then slowly it start to walk with the help of two legs with bending manner, right? Then later start to walk. I am saying within the 1 minute, but it takes several years. I mean several months also. Okay. What is phylogeny? Phylogeny deals with evolution of organisms. Evolution of organisms. He is comparing evolution of human being and development of embryo, fetus, infant and child, baby. What he is saying, recapitulate means repeat. If we go through the evolution of organism, for example, how the human being, mammals, human being come under mammals, right? How the mammals developed, no? First, in the chordata, fishes, fish where it will be in the water, embryo where it will be in the amniotic fluid. Both are resembling, no? That's why ontogeny, recapitulate. Recapitulate means repeated, resembling. Phylogeny. Then what? Soon after the delivery, the infant just it lay down. Try to turn, we are saying, you might ask your parents, the baby start to turn. That is resembling. Some organism like a fish, in the case of evolution, start to come out from the land. That is amphibian. that turning the baby is comparing with amphibian. Then it traveling like a reptile. How the snake, reptiles and all travel. Like that the baby also travel. How he is comparing. Then after the mammals, it walk with the help of, you might know that Neanderthal man. Neanderthal man means we are evolved from our ancestor, old. How they will walk now? With bend. Like that only the babies start to walk with bend. Then later it start walking like us. That is called ontogeny, recapitulate phylogeny. One more scientist, Hans Steeman. Hans Steeman. He got the Nobel Prize in the case of medicine. That actually belongs to embryologist. In the case of medicine, I mean physiology. Previously, before the development of physiology, medicinal part. He got the Nobel Prize. For what purpose? No? Induction of effect of induction on embryo. What he did was, some part of the cell he removed from the embryo. That particular part of the cell he removed, that particular organ not developed. So he says that in the embryo, the specific cells group together to form a tissues. Tissues group together to form a particular organs. It's an important discovery. For that purpose, he got Nobel Prize. He said that particular cells only give rise to particular organ. Particular cell give rise to heart. Particular cell give rise to skin, lungs, etc. For that, he got the Nobel Prize. Okay, come to our topic, the human reproduction. So, male and female reproductive organ, I have drawn there. The male-female reproductive system, male reproductive system, female no. Okay. Now, the reproductive organs, we can divide into two parts. One is primary reproductive organs. Primary reproductive organ. Another one is accessory. Accessory, otherwise we have another term, secondary reproductive organs. First, let us define what are the primary reproductive organ, then we can go to that what are the primary reproductive organ in male and female. You know very well, primary reproductive organ means the organ which responsible for production of gamete. Which organ produce the gamete? Those organs are called primary reproductive organ. In the case of male, a pair of testes. This is a testis. In the case of female, a pair of ovary. The testis and ovary only primary reproductive organ, because the testis produce sperm, ovary produce egg or ova. Okay. Remaining part of the male reproductive system or the female reproductive system, other than ovary, other than testis, is termed as secondary reproductive organ, otherwise accessory reproductive organ. What is the role? How to define the reproductive organ which are used to passes the gamete out or inside the parts where the fertilization occurs. Listen, just I will strike it out here, this part, just to forget inside. Now, the reproductive organ which responsible for passes the gamete out for fertilization. Fertilization means what? Union of male gamete, female. Let us say here, from within the testis only, the sperm produced. The sperm travel here and come out. That is, passes the gamete out. For what purpose? Fertilization. Fertilization where it occurs? In the fallopian tube. So sperm has to enter from the male reproductive system to female reproductive system here. Now, let me strike it out here. Let me come to that this part. In the case of female, in accessory reproductive organ. Accessory reproductive organ or the organ which responsible for passes the gamete. Here, which is the gamete? Egg. The egg enter into fallopian tube and reach near to the sperm for fertilization. So, passes the gamete inside the part of the reproductive organ where the fertilization occurs. That is called accessory reproductive organ. Okay, now what are the accessory reproductive organ in male and female? Very simple. Other than testis, all other parts are the accessory reproductive organ. What are the other parts? See, outside the testis here, some part is there. This is called epididymis. First, the sperm enter into epididymis, and this part is called vas deferens. Vas deferens. This part, this is a pair of gland. Here one gland, here one. Rough diagram only I have drawn because already you know very well. Seminal vesicle, and here the shadowed part, prostate gland, and here one part, a pair of gland, bulbo-urethral gland, and the last part, this one, penis. These are all the secondary reproductive organs in male. Epididymis, vasa differentia, seminal vesicle, a pair of seminal vesicle. I hope may be clear. Now, prostate gland, bulbo-urethral gland, and penis. See, we are not included this part. This is a urinary bladder. This is urethra. Urethra and urinary bladder, we are not included in the accessory reproductive organ because it comes under excretory part. You got it? Then, let me go to that female reproductive organ. What are the accessory or secondary reproductive organ? Very simple, other than ovary. What are the parts other than ovary? Why? Because this part and all useful for transfer the sperm. Okay, this part and all useful for transfer of egg. So, what is the definition of accessory reproductive organ in the case of female? No? The organ which is used to passes the gamete, either male gamete or female gamete, inside the part where the fertilization occurs. Now, what are the parts? This one, fallopian tube, and this is uterus, this one cervix, and this is vagina, and two glands are there. What is that? What is that? Bartholin gland, already we have discussed in the NCERT, and Skene's gland. These are all the accessory reproductive organ in female: fallopian tube, uterus, cervix, vagina, Bartholin gland, Skene's gland. Okay. Now let us discuss about testis. In the male reproductive organ, testis in detail. So I hope you are taking notes. Testis is the primary reproductive organ. Three things you have to do: listen, draw, write a note. Okay, this one only full and full. I am going to do the only diagrammatic explanation only. Okay, see, testis I am drawing here. This one only large size. It's a testis. What is the length of the testis? No, the length of the testis is this one. Length of the testis 4 to 5 centimeter. 4 to 5 centimeter. The width of the testis, this width, 2 to 3 centimeter. 2 to 3 centimeter. It's a testis over. Now, where it is located? Testis located outside the abdominal cavity, below the abdominal cavity, within the scrotum. It's a scrotum. See? Like this, scrotum. What is scrotum? Scrotum is a pouch-like structure. A pouch-like skin structure. A pouch-like, our skin only. The skin part only make a thickest layer and pouch-like layer, hanging in the lower abdomen of the male. A pair of pouch-like structure. Within the pouch-like structure only, the testes are present. You know why it is present outside? Why it is present inside the scrotum? The reason you know that because the scrotum reduces the temperature 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade than the normal body temperature. From the body temperature, how much our body temperature in the case of male, the scrotum less. How much less? 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade less than that. What is the normal body temperature? No? 37 degrees centigrade. If you write on the Fahrenheit, 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. So approximately 37 degrees centigrade body temperature means within the scrotum how much? 2.5 or 2 you reduce it 35. With this normal body temperature, the sperm cannot use. Viable sperm cannot. That's why it is present in the scrotum. That on the NCERT part we have discussed. Okay. Now the testis, it's a scrotum part. Where it is formed, not only testis, both ovary and testis formed, development. It is developed from mesoderms. Mesoderm. It is developed from mesoderm. Mesoderm means what? In the embryo, have a 3 layer. Ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. Ectoderm means outermost layer, endoderm innermost layer, mesoderm middle layer. From the middle layer some organ will develop. From the outer layer ectoderm some organ. From the innermost endoderm some organ. Testis and ovary developed from mesoderm. When it developed, that period is termed as IUL. What is IUL? I means intra. I hope this part you may not be visible, so I am using here. Intra uterine life. IUL. Intra uterine life. Now, what is the intra uterine life? This is nothing but the pregnant period. The period between the conception. Conception means conceive. Conceive means when the union of male gamete, female gamete occurs, fertilization. To delivery. After delivery of the baby. What is the technical term for delivery? Parturition. So from conception to delivery of the baby, the time where it is present inside the mother's womb, that period only intrauterine. Uterine means uterus. Intrauterine life. That intrauterine life we can divide into two parts, two periods. One is embryonic period, then fetus period. Embryonic period, fetus period. In the embryonic period, generally in IUL, in the embryonic period only, the development of testis occurs. What is embryonic? It is nothing but up to, from fertilization to till the embryo, the three-layered embryo form. Right? Now, okay, where the testis, where it formed in the fetus? Within the fetus, mesoderm. From the mesoderm cell, it developed during IUL. Which part of the body of the fetus, the male baby, formed on the stomach, in the abdomen? See, testis produced in the abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity means what? Roughly I have drawn this way. This part is the abdominal cavity, lower abdomen. So testis, a pair of testis formed in the abdominal cavity when during embryonic period, IUL. But at the time of birth, before the birth, what will be happen? No? Here, the scrotum. Here also scrotum. It descend down. It come down from the lower abdominal cavity to scrotum. The testis descend down. Descend down means come down at the time of delivery. This will only happen 99% of the male baby normally, but only 1%, less than 1% I can say. Okay, less than 1%, what will be happen? Some abnormal condition will occur. The testis cannot descend down before delivery or at the time of delivery. It retains within the abdomen itself. The scrotum will be present in the baby, male baby, but the scrotum is empty scrotum. No testis. Within the scrotum, no testis. This is a testis which is present inside the scrotum. No? This is a normal case. But the only scrotum without testis, that condition, that abnormal condition is called undescended testis undescended testis. Greek word, this ordinary Greek word is called crypt archidism. Crypt archidism. The testis which is present inside the abdominal cavity, no functional, non-functional. It never developed unto mature. It causes cancer, malignant cancer, dangerous cancer. So before that, what they have to do? Certain surgical treatment, they have to go for the cryptorchidism. So you note it down, this word, cryptorchidism. Okay, what happened in the case of female? No? In the female also same case, same condition, slight differences. From the mesoderm, ovary developed during IUL period, where within the lower abdomen itself in female baby, but it won't descend down. It retains in the abdomen itself. That's why in female it is an internal organ. In male, testis is an external organ. Now, come to that, the testis part. First, let us discuss very detailed manner in the scrotum. In the scrotum part. See the scrotum. I have drawn this scrotum. Just I leave it as a gap. See, this is a scrotal wall. This is a scrotum wall. The thickness of the scrotum. The inner lining of the scrotum made up of two muscles layer. The inner lining of the scrotum made up of two lining. What are the two lining? No? One is dartus muscles. Dartus muscle. D-A-R-T-U-S. Dartus muscles. Another one. Next layer. Two layers together from a single layer only. It made up of single layer made up of two muscles. Another one is spermatic fascia. Dartus muscle and spermatic fascia. These both are responsible for regulate the temperature of the scrotum. The scrotum temperature regulated by dartus muscle, spermatic fascia. Especially the dartus muscle during at the time of cold, it contracts. Muscle means to do the two functions, contraction and relaxation. During warm condition, it relax. During cold condition, contract. During warm condition, it relax. Okay. This is the inner lining. Now, in the middle of the wall of scrotum, the middle wall of the scrotum, it made up of one more muscles. See, the scrotum wall made up of the muscles. That muscles, it traveling not only scrotum, it traveling in the inguinal canal. I will say later what is inguinal canal. The inguinal canal wall also made up of the special muscles. That muscle is called cremaster muscles. Cremaster muscles. This cremaster muscle responsible for elevation of testis. At the time of push the sperm, the little bit it has to compress. The testis has to compress to elevate. For the elevation of testis, the cremaster muscles are responsible. Okay. Scrotum over. Now, the testis connected to scrotum wall. See, consider this is scrotum. I have drawn. This is scrotum. This is a testis. This is scrotum. The testis connected to scrotum by a elastic fibrous tissue. The testis attached to scrotum by a elastic fibrous tissue. That is called gubernaculum. Gubernaculum. The gubernaculum is a Greek word. It is otherwise called mesorchium. Mesorchium. All the technical terms possible to ask the questions. Mesorchium. Okay. Now, just now I had drawn now. This is a body. This is a leg. Consider this abdomen. Abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity. The scrotum is hanging here. The two scrotum hanging here, right? Within the scrotum only testis are there. The testis connected to abdominal cavity. The testis connected to abdominal cavity through a, see this is a abdominal cavity through a cord-like structure. Cord means tube-like structure. That tube-like structure is termed as spermical cord or spermatic cord. Spermatic cord. Spermical cord or spermatic cord. Through which, what are the things are passed through it? It's a tube-like structure only. It's a hollow one. Spermatic cord is a hollow. Through the spermatic cord, nerves travel from the testis to abdomen. Nerves are entered. Lymphatic vessels are entered. Blood vessel, gonadal vein, gonadal artery, and the important one is this part. What is this? Vasa deferens. The vas deferens also entered through what? Spermatic cord. So testis attached to the scrotum by a elastic fibrous muscle called gubernaculum or mesorchium. The testis attached to the abdominal cavity through a cord-like structure, tube-like structure called spermatic cord or spermical cord, through which nerve, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and vasa deferens or passes pass through it. Okay. Now, come to that. In the testis, outside part of the testis over, that we go to that inner part of the testis. I have drawn large size. This only diagrammatic explanation. So yourself You have to listen, draw and take note. Okay. Outer covering of testis. Outer covering of testis. Testis covered by three layers. Outermost layer is called, the outermost layer is called tunica vaginalis. See, this is a testis. This is a outermost covering. Very thick outermost covering, where it is inside the scrotum. I have drawn large size, but everything inside the scrotum. This is tunica vaginalis. This is anterior part of the testis, the posterior part of the testis. In the posterior part of the testis, it leaves a gap. Which one? The tunica vaginalis. Why it leaves a gap? Through that gap only, the nerves, the blood vessels, lymphatic vessels enter to the testis. So in that part it leave it. Remaining part completely covered by tunica vaginalis, outermost layer. It made up of two type of muscle, parietal muscle and visceral muscle. The tunica vaginalis made up of two type of muscle layer, parietal muscle, visceral muscle. Okay. That we come to that middle part. The middle layer, this one, tunica vaginalis. The middle layer is termed as tunica. Tunica means it's a Greek word that means thin layer, not thin layer. Tunica albigenea. If the word albigenea, that means white. This layer is a dense, white, fibrous muscles layer, where it is in the middle, very thin, dense, white, fibrous muscles. This is tunica albigenea, but in the dorsal side, this is anterior side, this is a dorsal side, I mean ventral side, this is a dorsal. In the dorsal side, the tunica albigenea form a thick, it form a very thick septum. Septum means division. See, this is a tunica albigenea. In the ventral side, ventral side and all very thin, but in the dorsal side very thick and form a septum. This septum is called mediastinum testis. Mediastinum of the testis or mediastinum testis. Clear? Now, innermost layer, outer layer tunica vaginalis, middle layer tunica albigenea, inner layer is called tunica vascularis. Remember it, if the word have a vascula, That means blood vessels, thin blood capillaries. See, inside the testis, you might have learned it have many lobes. Have a lot of lobes, 250, 200 and 250 lobulus. See, this part, the tunica vascularis, is a very thin covering, closely covered the testis. Closely covered the testis. This is tunica vascularis. It consists of many blood capillaries. It consists of many thin blood capillaries. Just closely covered the entire testis, plus it covered the or lining the lobulus. It covered the lobulus. It is testicular lobulus. Testicular lobulus. Clear? Three outer covering. Three covering of the testis. Outermost tunica vaginalis. Middle tunica albuginea. Innermost tunica vascularis. Okay. Now come to that inner part. What is present in the testis? In each lobulus, how many lobulus? 250 lobulus. In each lobulus, one or two or three highly coiled tube-like structure are present. That is called seminiferous tubules. Each lobulus consists of highly coiled 1 to 3. Some lobe have a 1, some lobe have a 2, some lobe have a 3. Highly coiled tube-like structure. That is called seminiferous tubules. Okay. From the seminiferous tubules, in the apex of the lobe, this apex of the lobe, it comes out as a straight tube. If the lobe having the three seminiferous tubules, all the three seminiferous tubules unite to form a straight tube-like structure. A short, straight tube-like structure come out from the apex of the each lobulus. That is called tubular rectus. It's a singular. Tubular recti is a plural. Always in biology, yes, end with yes means singular. End with not yes means plural. Okay, like that you remember it. See, these are all the straight tube that is called tubular rectus. That straight tube enter into, what is the name of the part? Mediastinum testis. It enter into mediastinum of the testis. And in the mediastinum of the testis, all the tubular rectus, how many tubular rectus are there? How many lobules are present? Tubular lobules, testicular lobules are present, that many. 250 lobulus. See, this each one is a lobulus. 250 lobulus if it is present, 250 tubular recti are present. In the mediastinum, it form a network. It form a network. That network of tubules in the mediastinum testis is called reed testis. Much more important word, reed testis. Okay. From the reed testis, in anterior dorsal side, this is the dorsal side. In dorsal side, this is upper dorsal side. The reed testis come out as a straight tubes. Come out from where? Come out from the testis. See, from here to here testis. The reed test is present only in the mediastinum as a network. The reed testis come out from the testis as a small short tube. How many small short tube? No? 10 to 20 small short tubes. Come out from where? Which part? Anterior dorsal side. That is called vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia. How many vasa efferentia? A small duct. Duct means tube. 10 to 20 in anterior dorsal side. Now, everything come out. What one? The vasa efferentia come out from the testis, but within the scrotum. See, this and all scrotum. Now, what will be happen? All the vasa efferentia, all means how many? Approximately 10 to 20 form a single common duct but highly coiled in the dorsal side of the testis within the scrotum. All the vasa efferentia unite to form a single common duct and form a highly coiled tube-like structure in the dorsal side of the testis within the scrotum. That is called epididymis. That is called epididymis. From each lobulus, testicular lobulus, seminiferous tubule. All seminiferous tubules unite to form a single straight tube, come out from the apex and form a tubular rectus. Tubular rectus enter into mediastinum testis and form a network. That is called reed testis. Reed testis come out from the testis as a straight tube called vasa efferentia. That vasa efferentia in the dorsal side of the testis form a highly coiled tube-like structure. That highly coiled tube-like structure is called epididymis. The epididymis we can divide it into three parts: upper part, middle part, lower part. Upper part, middle part, lower part. Where it is? Inside the scrotum, outside the testis. Remember it. This upper part of the epididymis is called caput. Epididymis. Caput means cap, top cap. The middle part is called, the middle part of the epididymis is called carpus. Carpus epididymis. The lower part is called caudal. Caudal epididymis. Caudal epididymis. Three parts. In the epididymis, the sperm temporarily stored more than 1 month. Temporarily stored more than 1 month. For what purpose? No? Maturation. The sperm and all produced within the seminiferous tubule and come out from the tubular rectus, reed testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis. In the epididymis, it stored temporarily, stays more than 1 month for maturation purpose. Then, from the caudal epididymis, tail, caudal means tail, a straight tube arises, single straight tubes. It runs anteriorly. It runs anteriorly and come out from the scrotum. See, this is scrotum. It runs anteriorly. From which part? Caudal epididymis. That is called vas deferens. Vas deferens. They have drawn here. This is a testis, epididymis. This is a vas deferens. This vas deferens run anteriorly and enter inside the abdominal cavity. This is a abdominal cavity through a canal. The canal only, what is that? Inguinal canal. Through which one? Inguinal canal. Via which one it passed? No, already we have discussed spermatic cord. Then it bend when it come across the ureter. This is the urinary bladder. Here also one testis, a pair of testis, a pair of vas deferens. Then vas deferens receive the seminal vesicles. Where it received the seminal vesicle, here some bulged part, dilated part. That part is called ampulla of the vas deferens. So today in this NEET class we have discussed human physiology, father of human physiology, embryology, what is reproduction, what are the primary reproductive organ, secondary reproductive organ, various scientists' name, and cryptorchidism. Then what are the testis covering, scrotum muscles, how the testis attached to scrotum, how the testis attached to abdominal cavity, inside the testis, about seminiferous tubules, reed testis, epididymis. What are the three parts of the epididymis? Then what about the vas deferens? We have discussed. So first episode of the zoology NEET class, first NEET class over for you. Your duty immediately go through that. Soon after the discussion class, I mean the cold calling will come. Then you refer the NCERT part, your book plus your running notebook. You can get more idea, more part. Then related to this, we will give, I already given some NEET questions, worksheet. In that worksheet, it covered the male reproductive system, NCERT part plus NEET part. Some question, very few questions you have to think and write. Okay? Later we will meet you. Bye bye.